Etheria Restart is a disaster of a game. Ooh, yeah, I dropped a dislike. I'm sorry, Brax. I don't agree with you, man. Yeah, we could take a peek at it. We'll watch it together. Not gonna attack him. Oh, I would never attack someone for attacking someone for their opinion on a game is so fucking cringe to me. I don't know why you would ever fucking attack someone for how they feel about a video game.
We actually have flying cars and somehow haven't all blown up due to dick measuring contests around the globe. Elon Musk's Catgirl experiment ended years ago, and now we live alongside them. Life is strange, but life is good. You open up your invisible phone and browse the App Store, looking for a fun game. You download the first thing on the list, and why does this game look like it was made in 2012?
Okay, yes, that is fair. It does look very dated. There's nothing crazy about how it looks. But that's arguably most gachas nowadays, to be entirely honest with you. Gachas don't look, insanely pretty or really nothing to really look at. I mean, even look at Wuwa, right? Like Wuwa 1.0. Guys, Wuwa 1.0 looked pretty fucking rough. Wuwa 1.0 looked rough too. Let's not, come on. Let's relax there. HSR looks basically the same way as this. Everything looks pretty okay now. Oh yeah, Wuwa looks incredible now. Don't get me wrong, but again, Kuro had an entire year of revenue and stuff and planning to actually like make the game look that good, right? Generally, when it comes to games, I try to base 1.0 to 1.0 to 1.0, right? I think basing a game's 1.0 to another game's 2.0 is just incredibly bad, right? You can't do that. You have to compare the base game to the base game. At least that's how I feel. Maybe I'm misguided in thinking that, but I feel like if you're comparing a new game to how a 3-year-old game looks, that's just unfair. We're at least like decent with nothing compared to what it is now. Yeah. Have the graphics were well improved. I mean the map. Just like the map and like the atmosphere and how things look. I don't get what he was trying to say with the whole cyberpunk intro. I don't either. Maybe he was talking about how far technology has come and how it is in 2025, and then to have a game that looks kind of dated and not like necessarily like anything good. Maybe that's where he was going with it, but still, I don't know the comparison.
Games have improved every single year.
But in market, this 1.0 is competing with other games that are 2.0. Okay, sure, but Gulliver, here's the thing. Are you going to okay? So, how do I want to word this? How can I word this properly? I had a point, but it's not necessarily like a 1-to-1. I won't cover it.
At least some of them have. It really does feel like they're getting higher quality all the time, and that quality of life improves with every new iteration.
Graphics and everything,
story writing, storytelling, game mechanics, and overall design just keeps getting better. But that only applies to some games, apparently, because somehow...
I mean, that's not even... So, the crazy part to me is that, okay, so he's talking specifically about story... All right, hold on. We're gonna recap. We're gonna rewatch this real quick.
The level of story writing,
game mechanics, overall design. Okay, so, Wuwa 1.0. The story was awful. The pacing was awful. It was very rough, right? Generally pretty fucking rough. The graphics weren't all that. The atmosphere was a little like dark and dreary. A lot of it looked the same. Do you still play Etheria? I do. I'm literally... I'm playing it right now off the screen. I'm literally still playing it. So like sweaty? Pretty much, yeah. I think most games that come out suffer a little bit in the start. Just because again, unless it's like made by like a AAA company, like a Hoyoverse type, we're talking about a company that has made like one other game in their entire life. These companies just don't really have the money to invest. I mean, Etheria Restart literally had to launch the soft launch the game early in beta to gather funds so they could actually launch the game, right? So we're a lot of these companies that are coming out with gacha games, they don't have the funds to immediately have a AAA title with amazing voice acting, a story, and graphics, right?
and just keeps getting better. But that only applies to some games, apparently.
Haven't had
Because
the gacha,
somehow,
not a rough start.
Etheria
Yep.
Restart took everything that we felt good about in new mobile gaming and set us back 10 years. If you don't know what it is...
See, I completely disagree with that. Yeah, even look at, like, dude, like, Re-Memento. You know, Brax was shilling Re-Memento really hard. Guys, Re-Memento looked exactly like how fucking Etheria Restart does. Re-Memento didn't look anything crazier. The story wasn't anything crazier or anything better as well. It was your typical gotcha slop dog shit fucking story that we just ignored because we liked the characters and we were excited to see where the game went with how, you know, the specific characters interact with each other and things like that. I think that's a little unfair to really be like hammering Etheria on that when it's like most of these games that come out nowadays, even Wuthering Waves was not a good launch. It was awful. The story was fucking dog shit. The story was awful. Very just general rough launch. Mua didn't deliver it. It didn't. Most new games are comparing this game to another one looks like this one and might be better the other one. They'll follow up. Yep. Yep,
Etheria
exactly.
Restart is a PvP-enabled anime gacha game that released in early June 2025, and its goal was to be a unique addition to the anime gaming space while also being the first major modern 3D PvP gacha game. For a lot of people, gacha with PvP is a red flag, but for some, it's a green light straight into a casino. Funny enough, if PvP felt like the focus of Etheria, I probably wouldn't have disliked it so much after investing 30 hours. PvP and gacha is ultimately about who spends the most money, and I love my tax write-off. But the more I write the script and reflect on my time playing, the more I realize how f***ed up this game is. From poor game design to using AI art to save a buck, Etheria...
Okay. We've talked about AI so much. Like, guys, I'm gonna spoil something really big here for you. Are you guys ready for this one? You guys ready for the biggest uncomfortable truth that nobody's ready to accept yet? And I don't have any proof of this. But I promise you, most companies, 99.9% of companies have used AI in some way, shape, or form for their art, for their business, for replying to emails, anything and everything. AI isn't this big devil that we think it is, guys. Yes, we need to protect artists, we need to protect VAs and things like that. But at the end of the day, guys, AI is here whether you like it or not. You can either accept it or you can die. That's it. It's the same thing with the Industrial Revolution, right? You guys remember when the Industrial Revolution happened? I remember because I was there. No, but literally, companies use AI. Every single company out there uses AI in some way, shape, or form. Now, why are we the arbiters of what is okay, what AI is okay to use and what AI isn't okay to use, right? That's silly, right? I mean, the companies are going to use AI. Script writers, people that write fucking YouTube scripts. And you know what? I'm going to say it. You guys ready for one? You guys ready for this one? You guys ready for something crazy? I'm going to make a speculation. I'm going to make a speculation, and Brax might be mad at me about this. Brax might be mad at me if he hears me say this. Brax, you've probably used AI to help write your scripts. Because I have. And I know most other content creators have as well. I'm not saying that they use AI to write the scripts. They use AI to help enhance their scripts, right? I promise you, most content creators out there have wrote like a rough draft for like a script. They throw it into ChatGPT and they say, hey, help the script out. You know, maybe switch things up, maybe condense it a little bit. Guys, everyone uses AI and that's not a problem, right? That's not an issue. Everyone fucking uses it nowadays. It is so like entrenched in our like societal norms nowadays. It is what it is. Nobody out there actually thinks AI is meant to do the whole job. Exactly. AI isn't meant to replace humans on a one-to-one. It's meant to help enhance our skills and the way that we do things. That's it. You know who does? Who does long dumb? I'm curious.
Etheria Restart is full of problems that nobody is talking about because they're all sponsored.
Oh, shit.
So he's claiming that no one wants to attack Etheria because they're sponsored, right? That's bad faith, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely it. Sean B talks bad. We literally watched a video 3 days ago. Sean B talking bad like in a 15-minute video about how much he dislikes Etheria, all his issues with it. Techie was sponsored by Etheria Restart. He shits on the game constantly. He says there's so many there's so many issues with the game. Sarah shit on this game for like 3 hours earlier. Yeah, I mean, Techie shit on the game for review botting him. He also, I mean, he shits on the game because he feels that the game is too much of a grind. He feels like it doesn't respect your time. Things like that. Most creators are shit talking the game. I agree. Yeah, I would say most content creators that are actively playing the game, the people who are actively playing it, not the tourists, right? Not the people who played it for a day. Most people are talking bad about the game in some way, shape, or form. I love Etheria Restart. I'm having a ton of fun in it, but I haven't shied away from the things that I have that I think are issues, right? We had a whole stream the other day where we talked about all the major issues in the game, all the things that the developers need to do differently to make sure the game doesn't die in 1.0. So I don't think he's necessarily right here. I think it's a little bit hyperbolic to like say no one's talking shit about the game because they're all sponsored. No.
Here we go again.
When I played, I decided to stay completely free to play because when I played the beta, I wasn't impressed with the gameplay loop, and even though you'd get your money back and more from the rebate, knowing my luck, I'd have better chances on a reroll than by spending $200. So when the game released, I rerolled for 8 hours.
Hi,
What I turn into? We're watching Brax's Theory Restart video.
See,
I feel like you guys want to know another hot take of mine. I feel like if you re-roll in a game, you are ruining your enjoyment. From frame one, you are min-maxing the game and ruining it for you. If you just play the game and play it where it lands, yeah, you might not have the best units. You might be at a disadvantage at, in specific things. You may not be 100% capable of clearing every single content in the game right away, but like, no wonder you're criticized. No wonder you have such like a negative light on the game because you spent 8 hours doing something completely mind-numbing and boring, just so you could have a good start. Like, if you just played the game just for fun and played it where it lands, like maybe it would have, like, your entire opinion on the game would have been completely different.
the Etheria gave out quite a few polls, but it has this huge problem that's present in some other gacha games where the best characters from the standard character pool are rarer than the worst characters. It's the sort of scummy thing
Okay, yes, he is technically right.
that some gacha developers do to make sure that you'll be willing to spend more money to compete in PvP or on some kind of leaderboard. And the reason it works is because most people don't know that the rarer ones are much better until it's too late for you to actually re-roll.
Okay. Yes, duh. Like, of course you don't know what characters are better than other characters. Yes, that's generally how things work, right? I mean, like, Didding is a 4-star character, and he's probably one of the best fucking units in the game. Kraken's one of the best characters in the game. He's a 4-star unit. Like yes, these characters are powerful, and they're maybe a little bit too overtuned, but like, every game that you play is going to have a character that is better or character that is S tier as opposed to the A tier characters. It just is what it is. Rerolled my ass off and enjoying the game to the full. Expect just has a skill issue. I mean, I feel like, I mean, yeah, obviously, like, cases will differ, but it's like, if you're hating 8 hours of rerolling and you have, like, a negative bias towards the game already, and you reroll for 8 hours and you actually hate it, like, of course you're going to have a bad time.
Remember, it's not the majority of players who are watching YouTube and reading guides on games. Most people are going into Etheria without an idea of what characters they actually want to pull for. But to make
Sure. And most people who are playing the game are just playing the game just for fun. They're not trying to be top 10 PvP. They're not trying to max refresh every day and get the best possible characters. They're just playing the game just to play the game, to get the characters, to beat the stuff, to do some PvP, just to have fun, right? Like, you don't have to be top 100 or top 10 in PvP to enjoy the game, right? You play the game and just to play the game. Maybe you end up silver. Maybe you want to be gold in arena. Maybe that's your goal. Like, that's probably like the average person. They just want to play the game. Grinding to the bone can also kill your game for people. I haven't hit 90 cap. Well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Rerolling is such a sweaty move. Who had fun rerolling ever, no matter how long it takes? No
Matters
one.
worse, the rarer standard units, called LD units, have their own separate banner that guarantees them at 3 times the price per pull. This is another method that XD, Etheria's developers, used to trick you into thinking that the game is free-to-play friendly, because the LD units can be earned without the 3 times price banner. But realistically,
Yeah. And considering the amount of gems and the amount of pulls that you get in the game, you are more than likely going to hit an LD unit on the standard banner multiple times. Right? So many times. Guys, I've personally pulled like 5 or 6 LD units from just the standard banner. Right? It's not that it's impossible. Yeah, it's a lower rate of it happening, but the amount of pulls and gems that this game fucking throws at you is absolutely insane. You get so many pulls in this game.
your odds of getting them are once per 4 SSRs, which have a 1% drop chance, assuming you don't go to pity. If we assume you get super lucky and get one every 40 pulls, you'd need to do 160 pulls per LD unit, which, considering how many units there are in this game, your odds of hitting the ones that you want are significantly lower. It does have 100%.
Yeah, so of course, the unit you specifically want is always going to be super low. That's why I think going into a game with a specific unit that you want is crazy. Why would you go like you are setting yourself up for You're setting yourself up for failure if you start a gacha game with your eye on one specific character. You're just setting yourself up for failure. There are so many characters in these gacha games that come out, like the odds of you getting the one character that you want, even if it is a lower drop rate out of the rest of them, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You pulled so many times you've lost count. There's so many pulls in this game.
Rate up on the limited character banners, but those aren't always the units you need. And you might be thinking, oh, well, Frags, this is a gacha game. Obviously, you want to go for specific characters on your reroll, and you are 100% right. Not all SSRs and not all LD units are created equal, because if you don't...
Okay, kind of. Like, okay, yes, we all know Lily is probably the best unit in the game, sure. But when it comes to the characters, most characters are pretty good, period. Even the 4 stars, right? There's a lot of characters that we haven't even realized are the full potential yet, right? There's some characters better for other things than other people. Some characters are better for specific fights. Some characters are better for specific bosses. Yes, not all units are created equal, but also like even the 4 stars, even a lot of the 4 stars, even some of like the dog shit 5 stars have their place within the game and doing specific content. What I've called Catch You the Guard seeing popularity. Like, people are discovering stuff every other day.
Lily, the game is basically fucking unplayable. Can you?
That's completely not true. Having Lily is a really good thing. Lily is again, we talked about this before. Lily's probably the best unit in the game. Yeah, she probably deserves a nerf. But to say that like the game is unplayable without Lily is just so completely false. I've seen people get to Inferno without Lily. You don't need her. She's very good. It's unplayable if you're a net decker and can't think for yourself. Sure. Oh yeah. If you just go on Priden and you look at the best units and the best teams and you say that they all have Lily and they go, oh, well, I can't play the game so I don't have Lily. Yeah, of course the game is unplayable because you're only following the best absolute teams for each comp. Yeah, of course. You're not playing the game, that's why. Maybe I'm in the minority, but the gacha part of the gacha game is not the main thing I care about because if the game is shit, it doesn't matter anyway. Oh yeah, true. I finally froze my pulse ditting today. Bro is dodging me. Nice.
You play it? Sure. Do you enjoy having your balls hooked up to a car battery? Probably. Well,
it's really not that bad. Maybe you can argue once you like start hitting Inferno, the lack of Lily is pretty apparent, but you can play the game without Lily just fine. Like, you're not like, yeah, it's not the best 100% experience you could possibly be having, but that's any gacha game that you ever play. Of course, you're not always going to have the absolute best team to farm and the best team to climb. That's the RNG. That's why we play gacha games. Sarah said this: you are dumb if you just say Lily no clear and just clear without really referring to Inferno. No Lily, no clear. Yeah, I mean it's more nuanced than just yes or no. You don't need Lily; she makes a major difference, but it's not needed. Exactly, Chance.
Welcome to Etheria Reroll. You're going to be here trying to get Lily for the next 4 days.
And you shouldn't have done that. Dude, rerolling, I don't know, man. There's just something about rerolling that I feels like just sucks your fucking like experience out of the game. Dude, imagine imagine like you entered, you wanted to start playing golf, right? Imagine it's like, I'm gonna take up golf. I love golf. I've been meaning to get into golf for so long. Let's see. Let's go drop down to the hole. Let's go, let's go hit him. And then you get to the first hole and you make your shot. Well, that shot, it wasn't close enough. I want to start over. Let's do a redo. You do it again. That one wasn't close enough. Let's do a redo. You suck the enjoyment out of the game by constantly needing to max and perfect every single little thing you do in a game. If you don't get a birdie, you just reroll. Yeah, exactly.
Because the difference between accounts that had cleared hide content by day 3 and the accounts that hadn't was that all of the ones who had cleared had Lily.
Sure, but you want to know the crazy part? Day 3? Yeah, sure, probably. You want to know the crazy part about that statement? By day 4 and day 5, the people without Lily were catching up too. They started to catch up as well. Yeah, day 3. Dude, like imagine looking at day 3 of a game and going, oh my God, I don't have this one unit and these people with the one unit were able to clear it on day 3 and I wasn't? This game is bad. What? Why are we looking at day 3 as an arbiter of if a game is good or not? You know what else? The people who cleared had knowledge playing in beta? Exactly. Dude, I wasn't even clear. I wasn't even clearing day 3 stuff.
It has a speed increase, a crit damage increase, and
yes, she is very good,
and a cooldown reset. This is like if Bronya gave you an action forward in HSR 1.0, instantly cleared MOC 12, handed you the keys to a Porsche, and sucked your. And Lily isn't the only unit that
there was some bias. It was
you to have to be able to keep up because they designed the PvE to actually be hard, which honestly isn't that big of a deal if you're willing to learn, except for the fact that some bosses basically require you to build specific characters, and in order to
it may be easier with specific characters, right? It may be faster with specific characters, but you don't need specific characters to be able to clear the content. Again, the characters play differently. Some of them have better strengths, some of them have better weaknesses, right?
To do that, you have to log in 3 times a day for 14 business days to use your stamina and not overcap. And
okay. So, logging in 3 times a day. With the amount of auto that the game has, logging in every once in a while, not that big of a deal. If you are wanting, and again, like, if you expect to be competitive in a game, in a PvP game, if you expect to be the best of the best, you expect to be the top dog, you are going to be expected to play a lot of the game. You're going to be expected to, right? You have to. If you want to be it's the same thing in any other PvP game, right? You're going to have to put in the reps. You're going to have to put in the time. It just is what it is.
In fact, by then, your characters probably still wouldn't even be maxed because it takes so goddamn long to level them to max and then ascend them to give them another star and level them to max again and then ascend them again to give them another star and...
Oh God, I can't full max my unit after 3 days, guys. I can't have them 6-star level 50 after day 3. What the fuck is this all about? What do you mean I can't level them to their max possible capabilities after 3 days in the game, guys? Why can't I do that? Guys, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we argued Wuwa with. I was arguing with you guys in chat on the launch of Wuwa. Guys, these substats are dog shit. It takes so long to farm echoes. Yeah, of course, guys. You're not supposed to have max level echoes with perfect substats after a week. You're not supposed to. That's not how the game works because there's no rarer echo than the thing that you're getting. You can't even max an HSR character day 1. You're level gated. This is what I'm saying. Like I don't understand where this is coming from.
This game's grind is a disaster. This game has so much grinding to it that the club would be jealous. First off, you have shells, which are basically weapons with RNG sets. Then you have modules, which are gear with RNG stats and RNG
just like
sets.
the instant one to shit on it, yeah.
Prowess, which is your character's skill levels that takes not only specific missions,
You
but
need to
also
max right off the
incredibly
bat.
rare
Yep.
resources that you have very limited amounts of, and the character's level and ascension, which XP can be farmed for, but at very slow rates, and once you max
little
out the
bit too low
character's level,
rates
you have
currently.
to ascend them
That-
to make them
that
even
could be argued,
stronger,
sure.
and those resources are ridiculously limited as well. Problem is that it takes so many resources and so much time to level a character, their shell, their prowesses, and their modules that free-to-play players are better off going to college for 4 years and getting a f***ing job to swipe instead. And
Okay, so if you are expecting to be a free-to-play character in a game which has pay-to-win elements, which it's a gacha game, has pay-to-win elements, we all acknowledge that. If you're expecting to be competitive while keeping up with the people with the big spenders, that's a misaligned expectation on your end. Is it a problem? Sure, it's a problem. But also, you kind of signed up for it by jumping into a gacha game that has PvP elements in it. Like, what the fuck did you expect was going to happen?
not only does it take a ridiculous amount of time and stamina to level characters, it also takes a ridiculous amount of time to level your account as well. Each 10 stamina you spend is 10 experience, so it's...
He's right about grinding though, it's a nightmare, but at the same time you can AFK grind. Yes, okay, so yes, you could AFK grind. But also, like, here's the issue I have with that statement, Chance. You shouldn't be able to level a character to its entirety, have max skills, max prowess, max shells, max modules. You shouldn't be able to do that in a week. Period. Right? Like, yes, of course it takes a long time. It should take you a long time to fully max a character, right? Why the fuck shouldn't it take a long time? Because here's the issue. You want to know what happens? Here's what happens when you're able to max grind everything so quickly. People max grind, they get to cap, they get the characters the best they possibly can, and then they stop playing the game. All they have left is PvP. That's all they have left. Then they just stop playing the game. That's it. You want it? I want it now mentality. Exactly. People don't. The modern day gamers don't understand the grind, right? They've never had to grind OSRS. They never had to grind classic WoW.
It's basically
should
a
be that
level
crazy,
or
yeah.
2 a day after you get somewhat into the game, and less than a level a day at higher level. If you use premium currency,
Sure.
you can refill stamina up to 10 times a day though, which will put you literally 3 to 4 days ahead every single day.
Yep, we covered
which
this.
massively helps you get through the story-locked content and get to PvP faster.
That's crazy. What? No way. If you spend your premium currency, you can level up faster and get better rewards in the game. What? No way. Oh, crazy. The crazy part is, even the free-to-play players max refreshed every day, and by 2 weeks in, they max refreshed every day and still had 14,000 gems on their account. Oh, no way. What?
We all thought this was going to be a PvP-focused game with PvE in it, and somehow the devs made it a PvE game.
Yo,
where
Waspy,
you
what up,
can
man?
only get to the PvP if you survive 4 hours of shitty Honkai Impact 3rd style missions. At the beginning of the game, you're required to do the story, which ultimately isn't that big of a deal.
You're free to play and had
but I would be
12
lying to
gems,
you
you
if
get
I didn't
50?
say
Yeah.
that was one of the most frustrating experiences I've ever had in a gacha game. It's not that the story is hard, it's that the story missions are a chore. It feels like you're in a tiny little box and you have to go from one side to the other and you can't stray at all.
I agree with
Whenever
this.
there's an enemy, there's a 50-50 chance you get forced into a combat session. If you're a historian,
Well, that's not true. That's a skill issue. If you are running into the mobs, yes, you are forced into a fight. But you can also hit them from behind and not get into the fight. You can avoid the mobs. You don't have to get into the fight. Okay.
enjoyer, I'm sure it's fine, but the year is 2025. Why is the story being told like our phones are Nokia bricks? Also, in order to access
Some mobs,
PvP, you
all mobs except the ones that have the gold glow around them. If they have a gold glow around them, you have to fight them. But all the other mobs, you don't have to. Is this Brax? Yes.
have to do the story up to a certain point. In fact, to access and move forward with any part of the game, you're required to do the story. The one saving grace is that there is a skip button for people who don't care, but because the story is level gated, there's a lot of times where you just can't play the game beyond doing daily auto farm.
Isn't every gacha game level gated on the story? I feel like every single gacha game is. I know Wuwa was. I know HSR was. every gacha game I've ever played, you are level gated. You play the story, you're locked out of the story for a few levels, and you can't do it. You have to do side shit until you get enough experience to go do the story. Like bitching, like using this as an example of why the game is bad when every single gacha game in the genre does it. Genshin, what Limbus? I mean, Limbus is the is the outlier, but yeah, every gacha game does. Every gacha game I've ever played does this.
Missions unless you spend your premium currency on refills of stamina. On the contrary to that, when you level up, you get more stamina that you have to spend immediately or you'll overcap. So
like it's so crazy to me, like, so people, a lot of these CCs use the term overcapping and make it sound like it's the biggest cardinal sin that you can ever do in life. Like, guys, overcapping as a casual player that is just playing the game just for fun, it really isn't that big of a deal, guys. I'm sorry. If you overcap on your stamina and you miss 20 stamina every day, it's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna break your account. You can still try to be competitive and still have fun with the game. That's crazy. Like they use overcapping like it's the big bad boogeyman. I don't understand it.
sometimes you're forced not to play the game, and other times you're forced to play the game.
Every gacha out there does that. Depending on where you are with your stamina when you level up. Yeah, that every single gacha does that. When you level up, you get a lot of your stamina back. You're going to probably overcap. There's going to be periods where you don't have enough stamina, and you can choose to use your stamina refresh potions, which by the way, even free-to-play players by day 14, I think had like 50 or 60 of them. So it's not like it was a super premium currency. You still had a lot.
And all of this is just on the quest to get to a high enough level to be able to farm the endgame gear so that way you can play the PvP.
So he is expecting, so let me get this straight. With what he is saying, you should be expected to get to endgame and do endgame content and have endgame PvP stuff within a week of playing the game. Guys, if you could get to endgame within 1 week of playing the game, there's no reason for you to stick around after you get to endgame and after you farmed it for a little bit. Why would you stick around? The PvP isn't 100% going to keep you in the game, interested in the game. There has to be a treadmill. Crazy that I'm talking about treadmills, right? There has to be a treadmill that keeps you playing the game. That's why these gacha games have stuff like this. That's why they have substats. That's why they don't have substat items to change your substats. It's because it keeps you on the grind, it keeps you logging in, and it keeps you playing the game. It's called a treadmill for a reason. Not that I would know anything about it, because I don't.
How long does it take to get to endgame farming and actually compete in PvP as a free-to-play player who's not wasting their premium currency? Drum
Probably a week. He's gonna say like a month, I bet.
roll, please. 30 to 60 days.
No, it does not. That's just false. I think PvP unlocks at level 15. I think 15 was the level that PvP unlocks. Someone correct me if I'm mistaken there, but I'm pretty sure it's 15. 15? Yeah. This reason bid the biggest range ever. Yeah, 30 to 60 days. Yeah, it's either 30 or double what I said. So getting to level 15 unlocks the PvP. That's when you can actually start to PvP. Getting to level 15, even as someone who's not refreshing, probably took a few days. You get there in 1 to 2 days without refreshing? Yeah, you get there very quick. In fact, I'm pretty sure I was like 15 after day 1 with 1,000 extra stamina. Yeah, it's like 3 days, maybe. I'm not max refreshing. I get PvP and win against people level 20 level over me. Yeah, like I don't understand where he's getting this information from. If you play for 10 minutes a day, yeah, exactly. I was already playing PvP with purple items. Yeah, everyone was. The fact that he thinks you need to take 30 to 60 days to PvP is crazy. If you don't max refresh, that's probably correct. No. PvP unlocks at level 15. Getting to level, you can get to level I think 8 or 9 by the end of the first day if you don't refresh. If you're talking about gears with 3 modules and mythic shells, okay, I'm sure if you're talking about that, but You don't have to you don't have to jump into PvP and have mythic modules and mythic shells at fucking bronze, guys. You don't need endgame gear to play in bronze. You don't.
You have to play through this auto farm slop for 1 to 2 months just to be able to enjoy endgame PvP. And enjoy is
He keeps saying this word endgame PvP, right? He keeps saying that. What, like, yes, of course that you are not going to get to endgame PvP as a free-to-play character when you're not using your stamina refreshes and you're not using your gems to refresh. Of course you're not. You shouldn't be expected to. Why wouldn't they unlock PvP early? The main shtick to Etheria is PvP. Why wouldn't they unlock a PvP early? PvP is unlocked so incredibly early. Isn't that the point of the argument? What?
being used loosely, because if
Yeah,
you're
PvP
free to
is
play,
early, yeah.
you should honestly just give up. If you don't have the right units, you're going to struggle with PvE farming and PvP. This game's progression is so incredibly slow that it feels terrible to try and level up. It feels like your characters make no progress daily. The pacing is so poor that for most people, the only way you're going to enjoy this game is by spending. I mean, this is literally the gameplay for almost 2 months.
Surprise, guys. Surprise. If you don't spend in a gacha game, you're not going to get as much enjoyment out of others that do. What? Oh, God. No fucking way. Oh, God. Did I just crack the code? You don't get as much enjoyment out of a game that is made to force as much money out of you as possible. You're not going to get as much enjoyment out of it? No. Say it ain't so.
Months. You would genuinely have a better time watching paint dry and eating the paint chips off the wall afterwards. And honestly, I was gonna leave the video mostly at that.
Gonna ruin the whole gacha industry with that
kind of
knowledge? I guess so.
Not very fun in the PvE. But then the devs decided to.
Okay, so the PvE. Okay, so he's saying that the PvE isn't fun. I sort of agree with him on this specific take up until you start hitting endgame PvP or PvE. Excuse me. When you start hitting endgame PvE, when you actually have to sit there and like figure out a team, see what units you have, see what gear you have, and mix and match and see what exactly you have to actually be able to fight these endgame mobs and bosses, that to me is fun. I like that stuff. I thought it was boring, guys, when we were in like pre hell, when I could throw the same team against everything. It's a little boring. Yeah, it's just auto slop. But it's not meant to be hard. The early game is meant to be farmed by basically everyone that you possibly can farm. Like, you can throw any fucking team at these fights. You're not supposed to be able to do these endgame fights with any single team. With any 5 teams, 5 characters you could throw at the wall. Gets a little tedious endgame. I have more on that. I want to get a little bit further into the video.
But then the devs decided to suicide their game. Here's the thing, they decided to make a pretty good overall PvP system, with different game modes like an offline defense mode and a real-time arena. They even have private matches and a system made for casting tournaments. It's honestly super impressive how much work they put into it and how well it functions. Duplicates of characters still do give bonus stats, and your units matter.
Yes, that was an issue that we can all agree on. That the narrative for the longest time in Etheria Restart for the 30 to 60 days leading up to the game was that dupes don't matter in PvP. The devs basically let us run with that knowledge. Their wording is a little ambiguous, and it turns out dupes do matter in PvP. That was a pretty big L on the company's part. I can completely agree with.
Just as much as your gear, but that's about what you'd expect.
You don't necessarily need meta units, especially when you start getting into like the RTA, the actual PvP in the game. When you can ban a unit, when you can pre-ban a unit, when there's a draft system, and once you hit a certain rank, like certain picks that you pick are exempt and immune from being banned.
Expect from a gacha game. And for sure, the best part of Etheria Restart is how good the PvP system is, despite its flaws. The weird part, though,
common units are also scary. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's so many 4-star units in this game that are sleepers that are disgusting.
Nerfing units that people spent weeks worth of resources on.
Okay, this was a crazy part to me. So He said the devs are nerfing units that they spent weeks building resources on. Okay. So when the nerfs came out, I believe the game had been out for a week. When the nerfs, when they fixed Veronica, when they changed Aurora, when they fixed Exodia, things like that. Saying weeks is a little interesting to me. Maybe he meant they had weeks worth of resources. Maybe that's where he was going with it. Like the people who were max refreshing. Maybe like that's his like ideology. I like why I like what he said that. But saying that they spent weeks worth of time and investment into building units, it was, the game was out for like a week at that point. Like, what do you mean that you spent weeks building up a character? The game was out for a week when they changed and nerfed some of the stuff that happened.
The trash.
Damn. Shadow Sonya, man. That's crazy that Shadow Sonya is included on this. Man, it's a real shame that they nerfed Shadow Sonya. She's fucking useless at this point, man. She's so bad. She's so fucking bad as a unit now. Like, what's the point of even using her? Why do we have Shadow Sonya built? Because they changed her in one mode. Why? What's the point? What? I mean, why do we even have the character anymore? They changed how she works in one boss. We can't even use her. Guys, they changed how she works in one boss. She's literally unusable now. We can't use her in anything else. Oh my god. They changed how she works in Aurora. She's dead. We can't use her. Yo, Skull CJ, what up, brother? What up, baby? Welcome, Raiders. Hello. Hi, Skull. Hope you're moving well, brother. Hello. We're talking about Brax's video, and I'm getting a little angry about it. But thank you for the raid, brother. Thank you. Mods, if we could shout out Skull CJ. But yeah, crazy guys. That's crazy. Hey Brody, much love. The grind has been fried. Yeah, I feel you, man. Enjoy your rest. We got another long day of grinding tomorrow. There's no way you used all of your fucking stamina pots, so we'll see you tomorrow on the other side. But yeah, crazy. I mean, Shadow Sonya is the best unit to have. Yep. Exodia is also the best DPS for a Doki. Yeah, I mean that like my entire point. You still got like 20. I don't know if she's in any speed clears, but yeah, like people are still using Exodia. She's still a fucking very good unit. Oh god, they changed her and nerfed her in one specific mode and one specific team. Oh god. Oh my god, we can't use her anymore, guys. It's so Jover. It's so Jover, guys. Oh god. Say it ain't so. Okay, so Exodia, Shadow Sonya, Veronica. Let's talk about Veronica for a second. Veronica, the interaction that Veronica was doing with Doki Doki was just busted. It was just bad. It was bad for the game, bad for the overall health of the game. You should not be able to make your team perma-immune. Period. That is just an unintended mechanic of the game. And that's the thing that happens, guys. When you have a game that has 50 plus units, and when you have a game that's releasing units every other week, every other couple weeks, of course things like this are going to happen. That was Exodia. What was the Veronica one then? What was the Veronica one? I don't remember. I'm getting those two mixed up then. What was the Veronica nerf? I thought the Veronica nerf was the perma immune one. I don't remember what the Veronica one was on. Veronica perma can't die. Exodia. Oh, that's it? Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, never mind then. Same shit. Perma immune with buff extension? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, it was the same. Okay, Exodia and Veronica got caught in the same thing. Okay.
Because, get this, the boss that's meant to be farmed is being farmed too easily.
Okay. So, let's talk about this for a second. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off of secondhand information from people who played in the beta. So, Aurora was immune to dots at some point in the beta. It even said it on her screen within like the fight. The game launches, she is suddenly able to be dotted, right? So you can debate whether or not that's a bug, whether or not that's a change, whatever. It is very clearly an unintended mechanic that she is suddenly be able to be dotted, right? That's an issue. The fact that people saw this and people did it and built units about it, it sucks. It is what it is. My second point of this entire thing. There is 3 main bosses on this game for modules, right? There's 3 main bosses. One specific unit shouldn't be able to just completely kill the boss. So they knew that Shadow Sonya was already good in Terror. They knew that the Aurora bug was not supposed to be in the game, so they had to change it. One specific unit shouldn't be able to, one specific DPS unit shouldn't just be able to make the fights just kind of like a joke, right? So even if it was a nerf or it was intentional, one specific unit shouldn't be able to just completely nuke two out of the 3 of the bosses. Didding laughs. I mean, Didding kind of really doesn't even, to a certain extent, like, it's all Messiah nowadays. Regardless, I think they should nerf Didding too, but the people would quit the game.
No, I'm not joking. Within 2 weeks of this game being released, they felt like people were farming the game too easily, so they nerfed a character that people...
They didn't nerf the character. I hate when people say this. Shadow Sonya did not get nerfed. The boss got fixed. The character did not get nerfed. The boss was fixed.
Spent all of that time investing in. Like, I just don't get the thought process there. The whole point of the gacha game is for you to not play the game that much. Like, there's literally stamina in the game for that reason, to stop you from playing all the time.
Okay, so that's a crazy statement to make. Why does he think companies don't want you? Hold on, I gotta make sure my auto is still going on. Why does he think that the people that make these games, why does he think that they don't want you to play the game, right? They want you to continue to play the game over and over and over again. They want you guys. They want you in the game so incredibly much, right? They want you logged into the game as much as you possibly can. They want you playing the game 24/7. Because guys, the longer that you are logged into the game, the longer that you are playing the game, the more likely chance that you are going to spend money. Like, crazy thought, right? They want you in the game. They want you to keep playing. They want you to be addicted.
So I don't really understand why it would be a problem that people are clearing the content that they're supposed to be clearing, using a strategy that's completely fair and within the rules of the game. Balancing characters to PvE is a huge mistake for a game with PvP in it. Naturally, players weren't too happy with the decision. After all, what sense does it make to make PvE farming harder in a gacha game? And to add insult to injury, XD didn't even offer to refund players their invested resources.
Okay, so again, it wasn't a nerf. Shadow Sonya was still very good, despite what everyone thought.
Until players began to criticize them for it. As mentioned 30 times in this video already, it takes a ridiculous amount of resources to level a character in that game. It's like they don't even play their own game. I don't know what they're thinking.
I'll just talk to Brax on stream. I don't think there's any point. I think it's interesting just to cover the video.
Events or anything to...
And again, I don't have a problem with Brax. I love Brax. Brax is one of my favorite content creators. I fucking love him. I just saw him the other day and gave him a fucking hug. I love that guy to death. I just think it was a silly video. I mean, I don't have anything against Brax. I still like hanging out with him. I'm still talking to him. This video isn't changing my opinion of him. I just think it's a little bit of a kind of like a doom posty video.
Off of then Etheria restart is
people
more
get different
than
opinions
the
on
chicken I
games.
had for dinner
Crazy.
Because I'm terrified of food poisoning. Speaking of cooked though, it gets even worse for Etheria because genuinely, what the fuck is this? Yeah, so basically to save a couple bucks and not hire real artists, XD used generative AI to...
Okay, so he's saying that they used it. He's saying that it's like confirmed that they used it. When the post that he's referencing, when the specific Reddit post that he's referencing
The fuck is
says
that?
it's just allegations. Okay, so we don't have any concrete proof that they're using AI, and that now he suddenly like turns it into XD is definitely using AI. Like, let me. I want to pull up. I want to pull up this. I'm trying to find this specific post on Reddit because I want to see it more in its entirety to see exactly what it says. Because the post he's referencing literally says allegations. Like, do we have any concrete proof? This is actually. Brax decided to pull up a Reddit thread with 0 upvotes. 0 upvotes, which means it was downvoted. It has 0 upvotes. 13 comments by a guy named Throwaway Utena. Even the guy that is commenting down here was downvoted so much. Hi, I really want to have a good faith discussion about this because I'm generally curious. I've watched the 2 YouTube videos about this, and I like to believe it's not entirely convinced. It would be nice to hear my opinions. First, with them with the blah 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 to feel so simpler. Let's find details. You say the inconsistency of our character. So like. Looks Naga first it was downvoted. It's something negative. I mean, negative things are at the top all the time. This is a negative thread. Like to think that there's only positive posts on this thread, it's very clear that you don't read the Reddit. Because half of the posts that I read at the top of this Reddit are people disagreeing and are people shitting on the game. Like, tell me you don't know, you don't browse the Reddit without telling me you don't browse the Reddit. They bitch about the game constantly.
This. Yeah, so basically, to save a couple bucks and not hire real artists, XD used generative AI to.
Okay, so I'm curious where this quote is from. We believe that using AI as a technology continues to improve and increase the number of at the tap level. We will provide more support and preparation for the strains, helping developers read Okay, so we don't know where this is from. Let me see if I could find where he took this from. How 4K people get rid of this is just bewildering to me. It's just see, I talked about this the other day. It is the cool and popular thing to hate on the game at the moment. That is like because of like all like the small issues that people have going on. That is what like it's cool to hate on the game. Real artists, game does back then word artists, they learn how to draw. Motherfuckers thinking that the artist is now downplaying AI. I'm curious where this quote is from. I'm having a hard time like wait. Oh, I found it. Hold on. What? So, okay, what? Hold on.
Create their character splash arts. Now, sure, I can understand the argument that it's XD's game and they can do what.
Okay, so I'm actually a little weirded out by this one. Okay, so he's using like this, like not filled in, yada yada yada, and then he's taking a random quote which he doesn't even talk about where it's from. I went and found exactly where the quote is from. This is the exact quote of where he used it from. Some random article that I don't even isn't even talking about. Oh, okay, hold on. XD. Follow friends. Hold on. There may be something to this. Chairman's letter to investors. Embrace new opportunities at the cusp of a changing era. Okay. So it looks like this is a what do they call it? Like an earnings report, like an earnings letter to people like investing in XD. Okay, hold on. So let's Okay. Leading Flux and outstanding games, a tap level, reply more, blah, blah, blah. Helping developers reach more users quickly, enabling players to have experience games, constantly providing developers more positive feedback. Okay. So the specific quote that he's using here, first of all, it's not even referencing art specifically. It's just talking about using AI to enhance and to help the game making process. So it's not even specifically talking about AI art. It's talking about getting art. It's talking about getting art from AI. Talking about getting feedback AI, reducing game development costs, enabling independent characters to create more astonishing, excellent game works. So it's not even specifically talking about like art. And even if it was, who fucking cares?
To create their
Like, I don't know the things that he's like the examples that he's showing here is so weird. Like, why is this? Why is the bird? Why is the bird being circled? The bird looks fine. What are we doing here? It bends weird. Guys, you guys want to hear something crazy? Artists, like even regular artists, like even people like who are like human, they aren't perfect. They make mistakes, and things are probably sometimes gonna look weird when even real artists do drawings. That's just how art works.
character splash arts. Now, sure, I can understand the argument that it's
Her art design looks entirely different from her in-game model, with new items and things on the wrong side. Okay, so they have to be on
XD's game and they can do what they want with their own property. But what I'm wondering is
the point is unconfirmed, but arts are also have entirely different styles, which is odd for modern gachas. I don't think that's odd at all. Splash arts generally don't look one-to-one as the models in game. Am I crazy for thinking that? Am I nuts? I'm pretty sure splash arts generally look way different.
Somebody has millions of dollars to spend on marketing.
Millions of dollars to spend on marketing. Let's see.
And made back millions more.
What exactly is his point going after this so much? I think he's like grasping at straws with this argument. They look pretty similar, but it doesn't really matter. I think he's grasping at straws and just looking for more ways to shit on the game, ultimately. Okay, so do we think that XD Global, do we think that this company has millions upon millions of dollars to throw at this game? I mean, they made Go-Go Muffin. We all know how big Go-Go Muffin is, guys. Go-Go Muffin was a massive phenomenon success. We know Ulala was fucking crazy. This was such a good game. Like I played the fuck out of Ulala. We know Life After. Guys, don't even get me started about Life After. This game made billions of dollars. So yeah, XD Games probably does have a ton of money to throw. Yeah, probably. Sort of Cavalia. Even that game, I promise you, didn't have millions of dollars to throw around. Let's see. Sort of Cavalia made about 9 million its first month. Didn't do well pre-monthly. What are we talking about here? So this specific game probably made some decent money, but to say that they have millions of dollars in marketing is kind of crazy when the game itself probably took millions of dollars to make. There's no way this company had just millions of dollars to throw around for just its marketing.
In the first week of the game? How is it that they couldn't afford to throw $10,000 at an actual artist to make their splash arts and not have...
Okay, but again, so he's saying, but why didn't they have just $10,000 to throw at real artists? But we don't know if what you're saying is true or not. So why are you trying to argue this when you literally just said, 2 minutes ago that it is unconfirmed, but now you're saying why didn't they just spend more money on a real artist, but it's unconfirmed. So why?
them. That kind of laziness gives me the impression that XD doesn't actually care about making the game good at all, and that they're just in on the gacha rug pull meta developed over the past few years. Don't get me wrong, it looks better than Epic 7 by far, but this game still feels like it's so far behind every other new gacha game. With its story missions, it's...
Does it? Does it? But does it though? But hold on. I'm trying to find something that to make a point here. I'm trying to find something specific. But does it look that much different from these gacha games that are coming out? Does it look that much different? I don't know. It kind of looks pretty close to me. It kind of looks pretty damn close. kind of looks close. That's the game Brax loves. I know that's my point. It kind of looks pretty damn fucking close to a fucking dog shit gacha slap. I mean, come on. What is this model? Come on. They made this model in Blender in 2 fucking minutes.
It's archaically and needlessly confusing UI, and it's...
I need the UI guy's opinion on this, because I personally don't have an issue with the UI. I think the UI is fine. There is a couple of small things that I would change if I could, but I don't think the UI is anything crazy. Remento is sus, yeah.
It's extra gacha rarity mentality. The game is highly unit dependent, resources are incredibly scarce, the story gameplay isn't engaging, and it takes you forever to even start farming gear for PvP.
Yeah, we need to have endgame. We need to get endgame gear PvP within 2 weeks of the game coming out. With that, we need it. We shouldn't be able to. We should be able to play endgame after day 1. If we could, you know what? Not even day 1. Why can't we just open the game and just be given the gear to start endgame PvP? That would be a way better game. Wait, hold on. Wait, am I a genius? What if I made a gacha game where you just log in, you're given all the units and all the gear for free? Wait. Did I just crack the code? Did I just discover how to make a crazy good gacha PvP game? Oh, wait. I did it.
In which case, you're already behind everyone who swiped if you're free to play. And I haven't even spoken about the monetary advantages yet. There are so many low spender packs to try and get you to spend, and if you do spend,
who would have saw that
the
coming?
advantages you get over free to play players is absolutely disgusting. From just having more SSRs to actually leveling them and
Bro just invented E33
faster. Etheria Restart is incredibly pay to win, as much as they don't want you to believe it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I gave up after 30 hours.
You need voice actors to occasionally work too, yeah.
Not because the game
you
was
spend money on the gacha?
like that, but because it just wasn't fun. At least not for me. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who enjoy Etheria Restart, and it is 100% free to try it. So if you want to give it a go, go for it. But I can't in good faith recommend this game to anyone, because at the moment, the progression systems are poorly developed, the gameplay doesn't feel that engaging unless you're in PvP, and even when you're there, it's so pay to win favored that you probably would be better off just finding another game to play. I would rather play League. I have 12 hours played in 10 years of having an account. I fucking hate that game.
That's wild.
There is one thing that this game does extremely well, though, and
what
that's
is it?
Unions. If you have a group of friends that you love to play with, Unions provide a way.
Oh, wait, guys, I made it. I made it in the video. You can see my name down there. I made it. I'm in the video. Yippee!
You guys to support each other better than your parents did, but I'm gonna be honest, that's about it. Let me know if you like this video or if you want me to go myself. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, again, you know, I personally think Brax, guys, if you go check out the video, go give Brax some love, go leave some comments. Yeah, I mean, regardless of what you think about the game, just a lot of just like weird info. I don't know where he got some of that info from. But here's the thing, guys. Like, it is currently the cool thing to shit on Etheria Restart. Like, that is the big thing. Like, it is cool to shit on the game. People want to shit on Etheria right now. And again, I've talked about it before. There is a lot of bad things with Etheria. A lot of bad things. But overall, I think just the things that he was focusing on just weren't right. At all. But crazy how the devs decided to allocate money towards CC to hype up the game rather than pay actual artists to do their art. But again, we don't, there's no proof of this. Like, it's people like this. Like, people like this actually reproduce in the world. That's fucking crazy to me. I don't know. Regardless, I still love Brax. I do disagree with him on the game. Again, crazy that you can be an adult and still disagree with someone on their opinion of a game and still respect them and enjoy being their friend. But that just wasn't it. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below.